What's up? Thanks for checking this video out. If you're new here, my name's Jack, and I just got back from studying abroad in London at Boston University about a week ago. I thought I would take the time to kind of put out a dorm tour video of what my room was like over there in London, because there was not a lot of content online about what these rooms look like before I went over, and also kind of what I would need to bring on my own. I'll do a lot more talking after I actually show the rooms for those that are interested, kind of about my experience living there and how it kind of compared to living back in Boston. For a little bit of context, there's 4 dorms on BU London's campus. I lived in Sorbonne House, and I lived in a double, so it was just me and my other roommate. You can have a single, double, triple, or a quad. I think the quads are the most common. I'm also going to show clips from other people's dorms as well to give you a little more insight, because again, I was in a double, but I have a video from a quad, stuff like that. Here's a little tour, starting off with the room itself, then the bathroom, and then the kitchen. Okay, this is my room, and when you walk in, you can see my side. But I got lucky and I'm in a double, and I also, on top of that, am a little bit luckier because I don't have a bunk bed either, which is really nice. I think it's like a twin bed, might be an XL. So this is the entire room. This is my side. That's my roommate's side, just for a little bit of perspective, but I'm not gonna stay on that for too long because that's his business. But yeah, the room actually came pretty well equipped. It came with, obviously, the bed, a desk, 2 chairs, a lamp. There's the overhead light, and then these are each a dresser, so that's mine, that's my roommate's. Came with a trash can, and then a coat rack. So this is my side, that's my roommate's side. So as for the bed's fine. It came with a pillow and this duvet, but no sheet. So there's a fitted sheet and then a duvet and the duvet cover, which is nice, except this is the only thing you have to sleep with, so it can get pretty hot, especially towards the end of the semester when it's a little bit warmer outside. If I had known that, I might have bought just like a regular sheet to sleep with, because I like to sleep on the colder side. And then I also bought that pillow and pillowcase for myself because I wanted multiple. And then under the bed, there is like this drawer kind of on wheels that I store some stuff in, and then there's these 2 shelves here, so I just keep some clothes in there, but they're pretty deep. They go the length of pretty much the entire bed, so I could fit a lot of stuff down there, and I could fit both my suitcases under the bed. I picked this side with the window. I don't really have much of a view, but I get a good amount of light. And then as for the closet, again, this is my side, and it looks a little bit smaller than it is. There's a lot of storage on top, so I would keep like toiletries and laundry detergent and stuff up there. And then inside the closet, there's the top shelf, and then a rod with hangers, and mine actually came with hangers, probably between like 10 and 15. I don't know exactly. I think it was kind of just like a random assortment. I noticed my roommate has a lot more than me, but I didn't need to bring any hangers, which was nice. And then down here, just another drawer to fit some more stuff. The main thing that's a little bit different about this room is that it doesn't have a bathroom inside of it. Most of the other rooms do, but I can actually show you. Our bathroom is out in the hallway, and we share it with one other person. So you have toilet and the sink on one side, which is nice because it's separate from the shower. But we had to bring pretty much everything except toilet paper. The toilet paper was taken care of by the building. They would supplement that. The housekeeping would deal with that. And they clean the bathrooms once a week. And then this is the shower, and it's obviously just a shower. There's some hooks. We bought this bath mat. And then something that's annoying about these showers is that you have to push them, and then the water only runs for a little bit of time. We actually got lucky. Our shower runs a little bit longer than most other people's, but after a minute it'll shut off on its own. So while you're in the shower, you have to keep repeatedly hitting the shower head to keep the water running, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but the shower itself is nice. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to show you is the kitchen. So all the kitchens are keypad protected. The kitchens vary depending on what building you're in, obviously, and where you are within the building. So this is my kitchen. It's really nice, it's huge, and I only share it with 6 other people, which is really nice. But some of my friends downstairs had a kitchen that was a little bit smaller than this, and it was 16 people. So it's kind of luck of the draw. But it comes with some seating areas, and then mine is a little bit more modern. I think they recently renovated it, so it's really nice. Some of them are like this, but not all of them. These are the fridges. This is my fridge. I've already cleaned all my stuff out of it, but sizable. So you get a fridge and a freezer. These are all cabinets where you can go and put your food. This was my cabinet. It's empty now, but tons of space, more than I ever ended up needing, which was great. There's microwaves, lots of outlets. So some people brought their own stuff. Like one of the girls in my kitchen got a rice cooker. I'm not gonna show you inside every cabinet because that'll take forever, but it really does come fully stocked with like lots of pots and pans and strainers, all the kitchen utensils you would need. There's like cutlery, all that stuff. There's the oven. And then instead of having a stove top, it's an induction hob, which I had never used before, but they were actually fine. How these work, you turn them on, you pick which burner you want, so say I want this one, you select it and then you drag it to the heat, and it only works if you have one of the specific pots or pans. I think they're like magnetically connected. Bowls, plates, all that stuff, sink, dishwasher, that's pretty much everything in the kitchen, but I never had to buy any utensils or anything else for the kitchen. The only thing that I consistently got was paper towels because they didn't provide paper towels, but everything else. And they come in and clean it usually once a night and do like a deep clean once a week. We were very good at cleaning up after ourselves, so it was never really a problem. And then there's trash bins. There's a rotation there that we are assigned to take the trash out at a certain point. So yeah, that's the kitchen. It was good. I was really happy with it. It's days later, but people moved out, so I thought I would show you a single dorm. It's actually way bigger than I thought. This is my first time seeing one. But as you can see, it's kind of a similar layout in terms of furniture. So you got the same bed, the roller dresser thing that goes under the bed, desk over here, which is nice. I didn't have like a desk like this. And then a dresser. Singles are not very common. There's also a fan and a mirror. So there are 4 dorms on BU London's campus. 3 of them are in the South Kensington neighborhood and within walking distance of the academic building, which is called 43 Harrington Gardens. The other one is called Byng, and that is in the Bloomsbury neighborhood, so that's about a half an hour tube ride from the academic building. The 3 dorm buildings in the South Kensington area are the Crofton, Sorbonne House, and Courtfield Gardens. Crofton is the largest of them and the one that most people typically live in. It's about 180 people and it's a 10 to 15 minute walk from the academic building. Again, I lived in Sorbonne House. It's the smallest of at least the 3 that are in South Kensington. I don't know how it compares in size to Byng. It's about 60 people and it's like a 10-ish minute walk from the academic building. Courtfield is similar in size to Byng. I think it's around 70 people and it's a 3-minute walk to the academic buildings. In terms of what you're gonna get in the residences, I think it's pretty similar across Courtfield, Sorbonne, and Crofton. The layouts are obviously a little bit different and where they are geographically is different, but the general style where you have a room, whether that be a quad or a triple or whatever, having a bathroom, and then having a separate communal kitchen, whereas Byng is apartment style, so those are actual apartments with shared kitchens with people within your apartment unit, but not as communal. I really loved living in Sorbonne. I don't know if it's Sorbonne or Sorbonne. Everyone kind of used those interchangeably, but I really did enjoy living there. I originally put the Crofton down first because I wanted to be in the biggest dorm with the most people, but I actually found that the way the buildings are organized, it's not like a mass-produced dorm like Warren Towers or something like that back in Boston where it's very, very communal. What I found is that it's kind of more sequestered. You really only run into the people that you share your kitchen with. The way the floor plans are, there's like a kitchen in each area and they're kind of separated from each other. I liked the size of the building itself. It was smaller. I feel like I got to know close to everyone in my building by the end of the semester, and it was a great location. Obviously, it's in South Kensington, but I think Sorbonne had the best location out of the 3 in South Ken. It was across the street from the Museum of Natural History. It was like a 2-minute walk from the Victoria and Albert Museum. And the best part was it was really close to the South Kensington Tube Station, which is the public transit in London. It was about a 3 to 5 minute walk, which was great. The Crofton, probably like 10 to 15 from any given tube stop, and Courtfield was also probably a similar length. There's really good walking access from Sorbonne to the South Kensington and Chelsea areas. They're some of the nicest and safest areas in London. Yeah, the area, just kind of building off on that point, was really walkable. There's lots of great restaurants and shops around, and grocery shopping too is really close. There's a Tesco a 2-minute walk away, a little Waitrose like 3 minutes away, and then bigger Waitrose and a Sainsbury's like a 10-minute walk away. So that was really helpful for getting groceries. And then if you're walking more downtown, you're like a 20-minute walk from Harrods and the Knightsbridge area getting towards Buckingham Palace and Westminster and that type of stuff. The dorm room itself was nice. I don't really have much to say about it. I think the tour kind of speaks for itself. It's a pretty standard double room. I think the doubles were less common. Typically, I believe people were placed in triples or quads. That was kind of my understanding. There are also singles as well. You have to pay extra for those. I think it's like an additional $2,500. The floor plans are not uniform in the way that you might expect from a typical college dorm. So every room was kind of a different shape and sometimes a different size and a different layout with all the furniture. What you saw from my double or the quad that I showed will not be accurate for everyone across the buildings, but in terms of what's in there and the furniture will be accurate, with the exception of me not having a bunk bed. For the most part, I felt like I had enough space and I didn't need to buy any furniture or anything like that. The bathrooms were deep cleaned once a week by housekeeping staff, which was really nice. It was our responsibility to kind of keep them tidy and neat and clean up after ourselves anyway. All the buildings have housekeeping staff. They come in usually about once a day in the mornings to, check over the kitchen, make sure everything's okay, clean the bathroom once a week, vacuum the dorm rooms once a week, stuff like that. I was definitely nervous going in about having a communal kitchen just because I didn't know how many people would be in there and what it would be like sharing those spaces, but it was fine. It's like the same thing as an apartment, at least for me. I never had any problems with like people eating my food or leaving messes, but again, I've heard stories from other people having not as nice kitchen mates and stuff. In my building, there were some common areas, but not a ton. There wasn't really anywhere super private to go and do work, which I found kind of annoying. There were like 3 somewhat common spaces with tables, but obviously with 60 people in a building and a lot of people stuck in quads and stuff, you were never really able to find those rooms alone. So that was sometimes frustrating, like not knowing really where to go to do work. And we have the academic building a 10-minute walk away, but that operated on very limited hours. So that would close at like 6 p.m. So if you wanted to get some privacy and do your work somewhere, you would have to go out into Greater London and kind of explore, go to coffee shops and stuff. But stuff did close early. I always felt safe in the building. The building was protected by a key code, and you also needed to tap in with your ID, so it was kind of a double level of security. And the neighborhood itself is obviously really safe. Sorbonne didn't have a security guard. I believe the Crofton had a 24-hour security guard at the front desk, and they would monitor the security cameras all throughout Sorbonne. So they're definitely watching all the time. You can't have overnight guests, and they're super strict about it. There's really not any way around it. You can bring guests into the building, but they need to sign in using like a QR code, I believe from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. But then if they're there outside of those hours, you could get a huge fine. I think it was like $250 a night or something like that. And they always know. I don't know how they were always able to figure it out, but my friends in buildings told me stories of like them sending security guards to like go knock on doors and pull people out, which is kind of crazy. I feel a little bit ridiculous because we're all like 20 and 21, but they're super strict about that, which was definitely a bummer. Like if I had friends visiting, they wouldn't be able to stay with me. But there was a really cheap hostel across the street from the Crofton that was about $10 to $20 a night, which is actually really cheap for London. So it was okay. Like there was ways to work around it, but you can't have guests. And finally, there were 2 resident life assistants living in my building. They were super nice. They put on a lot of great events. But beyond that, it definitely did feel more isolated and independent than it did back in Boston. The support system is a lot smaller in London, so that's just something to be aware of. There's not like a office that you can just go into and get help at any time. But yeah, that's my experience living there. I had a great time. I'm really happy with where I got placed. Knowing everything I know now from this semester, I would have chose the exact same situation. I hope this is helpful for you and can kind of give you a little more insight to what it's like living there, again, because there's not that much verbiage online. I know I didn't cover everything, so if you have any more questions, you can leave a comment or message me. I'd be happy to answer any of those or develop on any of the points I talked about in this video. I also will be making and putting out a video about my experience as a whole with tips on everything from like living in London, taking classes, working an internship, traveling, all that stuff. And yeah, I still have a bunch more videos to put out from my experience there, like 4 or 5 travel videos and a week in the life video, so keep an eye out for those. And then obviously I'm flying out to LA in 3 weeks for an internship this summer, so there'll be plenty of content about that as well. So make sure you stay in the loop and check out whatever I put out next. Thank you for watching this, and I'll see you in the next one.